My mom kicked me out at 15. Now she thinks she can demand I name my daughter after her. When I was a teenager, my life fell apart in ways I couldn't imagine. My dad, my hero, was a truck driver. He worked long, exhausting hours, and one day, he never came back. A tragic accident took him from me. Losing him was bad enough. But even before he passed, my relationship with my mom was already strained. I knew she was cheating on him. She didn't even try to hide it sometimes. She'd bring her boyfriend home while my dad was out on the road. One of the reasons my dad worked so hard was because he was saving to buy a house for the two of us, so he could leave her. The house we were living in was technically hers. After my dad's death, that same boyfriend became my stepdad. At first, he acted nice enough. I even tried to get along with him because I didn't really have a choice. But little by little, his true feelings slipped out. I overheard arguments where he told my mom he didn't want to raise a kid who wasn't his. I thought my mom would at least stand up for me. I was wrong. One day, we had an argument because she had taken the money I'd been saving and given it to my stepdad. I called her out, and that's when she said it. "You're useless. I don't want you here anymore. You're just a reminder of your father." At first, I thought it was just cruel words said in anger, but the next day, my clothes were thrown outside. My stepdad stood at the door and told me I didn't live there anymore. I was 15, no home, no plan. I called a friend in tears, and he let me stay with him for a while. Eventually, I moved in with my grandma. She wasn't thrilled at first, but over time, she became the mother figure I never really had. From there, I worked hard to rebuild my life. I finished high school, went to college, got married, and now, I'm about to become a father myself. My wife and I are expecting our daughter soon. Naturally, I told my grandma. We talk almost every day, but apparently, she also told my mom because the next day, my phone rang. We hadn't spoken in 9 years. There was no "how have you been?" or "congratulations." She jumped straight into saying how excited she was because she had always dreamed of having a granddaughter named after her. I asked what she meant, and she explained that it was a family tradition. My great-grandmother named my grandmother after her. My grandmother named my mom after her. So of course, I would continue the tradition and name my daughter after my mom. I told her I wasn't doing that. She was shocked. "It's your obligation. Everyone respected the tradition. You will too." I told her she didn't mean anything to me anymore, and I didn't plan to name my daughter after someone who hadn't been a mother to me in almost a decade. She got angry and said she was coming over to settle things and demand her rights. Then she hung up. My grandma called, warning me that my mom was serious. I told her to let her come. After years of silence, I was ready to say everything I'd held in. A few hours later, I heard a car outside. I looked out the window. There she was, looking worn down but still carrying that arrogant air. And next to her, my stepdad, with that same smug grin he wore the day he kicked me out. They knocked. My mom barked. "So, are you letting us in? Or are we settling this here?" I let them in, but told them, "This isn't going to go the way you think." They sat down like it was some normal family visit. My stepdad stayed quiet, still smirking. My mom crossed her legs and said, "Let's get straight to the point. You're going to follow tradition and name your daughter after me. That's what's expected." I laughed, a bitter laugh. "You have no shame. You kicked me out, called me useless, and now you think you can demand anything from me? You've done nothing for me in 9 years. You mean nothing to me." She looked shocked. "I'm your mother. You owe me respect." I cut her off. "Tradition? The only tradition you've kept is destroying your own family. You cheated on Dad while he was working himself to death for us. You replaced him before his grave was even cold. And you kicked me out to please him." I pointed at my stepdad. "He's a coward. All he ever did for me was throw me out like garbage." Finally, my stepdad spoke. "You were never my son. We were better off when you left." "Better off for you," I said. "But this is my house, my family, and you have no place here." My wife came in, stood beside me, and told them calmly, "You need to leave." My mom's face hardened. "You'll regret this." "No, I won't," I replied. "I have everything I need right here, and you're not part of it." I opened the door, and they left. I thought that was the end of it. I was wrong. Over the next few months, I noticed my family calling less, texting less. Invitations to gatherings stopped. Then my aunt called and asked, "What's going on between you and your mom? She's been telling everyone awful things about you." Apparently, my mom was telling the family that I had cruelly kicked her out of my home, refused to name my daughter after her purely out of spite, and had been an ungrateful son my entire life. I told my aunt the real story about my dad, the cheating, being kicked out, living with my grandma, 9 years of silence, and my mom showing up only to make demands. One by one, other relatives called me. I told them the truth, and slowly, people started seeing through her lies. The real change came when my grandmother, the most respected person in our family, asked to talk. She had heard my mom's side but wanted mine. I told her everything, no sugarcoating. She listened quietly, then said, "I knew something was wrong. Your mother never wanted to talk about the past. Now it all makes sense." She confronted my mom directly, and for the first time, my mom had no defense. Her lies crumbled. She stopped going to family events. The woman who once loved being the center of attention was now isolated. Now, my wife and I are raising our daughter with love, patience, and respect, the very things I never got from my mom. I've realized something. Being a mother isn't about giving birth. It's about showing up, loving, supporting, sacrificing. My biological mother failed at all of those. But I'm not bitter anymore. I have a real family: my wife, my daughter, my grandma, and the people who stood by me when it mattered. Family isn't just blood. Family is who's there for you when the world isn't. And I'll make sure my daughter grows up knowing that.